Located in southern China, the Guilin region is known for its dramatic karst mountains, winding rivers, terraced rice paddies, old village scenes, and a rich mix of ethnic minority cultures. In this video, we'll take you through some of the best things to do in Guilin, including places we loved, local dishes you must try, where to stay, and things you have to take note of to get the most out of your visit. Our journey started in the historic heart of Guilin City, at the Guilin Rongshanhu scenic area. Centered around two lakes, it was originally part of the ancient city of Guilin. In fact, the place dates back all the way to the Tang Dynasty. It's home to an 800-year-old banyan tree, as well as the ancient South Gate, one of Guilin's oldest remaining structures. But today, it's a massive recreational park, popular amongst locals, including the ever-present dancing grannies, as well as tourists. But Rongshanhu's biggest highlight yet are the Sun and Moon Pagodas, an iconic attraction in Guilin and an important photo stop. One tip is to watch how the locals pose for their photos, as they often have the most creative ways to do it. Although we only stop by in the day, it's worth coming by in the evening if you can, as the lake scene is lit up very beautifully when it's dark. From Rongshanhu, we travelled to the Elephant Trunk Hill, a 4 out of 5A scenic area under China's tourism rating system, which means it's a pretty big deal. The Elephant Trunk Hill is synonymous with Guilin's identity and therefore another essential stop. This famous hill resembles an elephant drinking water from the river, and the local tourism board has somehow managed to spin this into a massive tourism draw. Featuring adorable elephant imagery, sightseeing rafts, and young influencers dressing up for photo shoots. We even came across a VR station featuring all of Guilin's attractions, and for less than $2 or 10 yuan, you can look like this too. Something to take note of is that you will see many vendors selling steamed osmanthus rice cakes around Elephant Trunk Hill, but we found them dry and flavorless. Turns out, these tourist area versions aren't the best. If you want to try the real deal, head to a specialty shop or buy from places where locals are lining up. Our evening was spent checking out the oldest and busiest pedestrian street in Guilin, with a history of over 1,000 years. Surrounded by Han and Tang Dynasty buildings, this is a foodie's haven filled with Guilin's best street foods, so make sure to come with an empty stomach. Fun fact, the gui in Guilin comes from the osmanthus flower, and you'll find osmanthus flavoured snacks all over the city. For a special treat, head to the Zhengyang Waterfall Hotel at around 8 PM, where a massive waterfall pours down from the top floor of the hotel. The next morning, we headed to Huangluo village, a small community of the Red Yao ethnic minority located next to a river. According to the Guinness World Records, this is the world's longest hair village, as women here grow their hair to extraordinary lengths, often up to 6.5 feet long. The village hosts twice daily performances about the life of the Red Yao women, from their coming-of-age traditions and marriage customs to how they maintain their shining black hair. At one point, they even got male audience members to participate as grooms, which was hilarious to watch. While exploring the village, Red Yao women will sell handmade items like coasters, ornaments, and tea sets. Just be cautious with buying jewelry that is silver sold at a low price. If it seems too cheap to be true, it probably is. After a lunch of bamboo chicken, a signature Guilin dish, we headed to Ping'an Zhuang village, home of the Zhuang people, as well as Guilin's famous Longji terraces. Due to lack of arable land, these rice terraces are built into the hillsides, creating scenic ribbons that wind up to the top of the hills. The best time to visit is actually in September, when the terraces turn a stunning golden yellow. However, we visited in April, so the colors we saw weren't as vibrant. There are two main viewpoints to get to. You can walk to the first one, but a more convenient option is getting on one of these green tourist cars to drive you up the hill. In almost no time, we reached a viewpoint creatively named 9 Dragons and 5 Tigers, 九龙五虎. Although we failed to make out the shape of neither dragons nor tigers, it was still a spectacular sight. The next viewpoint requires quite a lot of walking, about 30 minutes, but the route there is rather picturesque, with scenes of charming farm life, bamboo irrigation systems, and little tea shops along the way. We finally made it to the second viewpoint, named 7 Stars Around the Moon, 七星半月. Again, making out the stars and moon will require some imagination, but the views are still breathtaking nevertheless. It was how we ended our second day in Guilin, and only the start of the dreamlike landscapes we'll be seeing over the next few days. The following morning, we began our 2-hour journey to Yangshuo, a smaller county that's also part of Guilin. Featuring a slower, more rural vibe, it's home to much of the iconic karst scenery people associate with Guilin. Its central feature is Lijiang or Li River, a UNESCO World Heritage Site considered one of China's most picturesque rivers. The views here are so beautiful that part of the river was printed on China's 20 yuan bill, which has made Lijiang even more famous. One of the best viewpoints of the 20 yuan view is from the pier located in Xingping ancient town. Many tourists gather here, with professional photographers offering instant printed shots for around 50 RMB. Plenty of people seem to think it's a great deal and are happy to pose for the perfect souvenir. But to take in the full beauty of Lijiang, we had to get onto the water. A cruise may seem like a tacky idea in most places, but it really isn't the case here. Our boat drifted past steep karst hills with sharp peaks rising from the green fields in the distance, creating a strange and beautiful landscape that feels almost unreal. Sure, there was at least one touristy photo stop, gentle sales pictures, and costumes for rent, but hey, when in Rome, or in this case, when in China. Otherwise, our Lijiang cruise was one of the best highlights of Yangshuo, a rare 2 hours of tranquility surrounded by views that feel straight out of a painting. Another way to see Lijiang is by hopping on a bamboo raft, a peaceful way to drift along and take in the scenery. These rafts in Lijiang are usually small, private 2 or 4 seaters, perfect for soaking up the karst hills and misty views. We didn't do one here though, since we already taken a big group raft elsewhere in the province with similar stunning landscapes. After the cruise, we stopped for lunch and tried a local Yangshuo specialty, pork-stuffed river snails. Then, with full stomachs, we made our way back to Xingping ancient town. Lined with old stone streets and Ming-era buildings, the village has over 1,500 years of history. Although it's not a particularly popular ancient town, I felt it's worth a short stop if you're already visiting Lijiang. We didn't stay for long because our group soon sped off to Shiwai Taoyuan or Shangri-La Park, about an hour away. With a name that literally translates into peach blossom garden beyond our world, Shiwai Taoyuan has much to live up to. We started with a peaceful boat ride through Yanzi Lake, surrounded by karst peaks and greenery. No peach blossoms in sight, but that's not really what this place is about. Shiwai Taoyuan highlights the rich cultures of Guangxi's ethnic groups, including the Zhuang, Yao, Dong, and Miao, and we got to see their traditions and daily life up close, from singing folk songs and dancing, to the throwing love ball tradition of the Zhuang people. Fun fact, the fancy restroom near the exit is considered 5-star level, featuring some luxurious amenities such as air conditioning, automatic soap dispensers, and even a rest area with a TV. It's worth checking out to see. When in Yangshuo, you'll see their signature dish, beer fish, everywhere. Here, Lijiang River fish is slow cooked in a rich beer broth for a unique flavor. We tried it at 2 places, and Da Shifu was better. Even Singapore's former Prime Minister praised their beer fish. You'll find Da Shifu everywhere in Yangshuo. They have 15 outlets in this small town. Our third day ended with the show Impression of Liu Sanjie. Directed by Zhang Yimou, the show is set on the Lijiang River, with the stunning Karst Mountains as the backdrop. Liu Sanjie, the titular character, is a folk hero in Guangxi, made famous by a 1960 film. It's so popular that the entire venue was packed with both local and international tourists. We weren't familiar with her, but my parents, fans of the movie, were excited. Unfortunately, the show didn't live up to their expectations. While visually impressive, it lacked a clear plot and felt disconnected from the original story and film. At one point, my father even fell asleep. So, if you're on a budget or are short on time, I think you can skip the show without missing much. Afterwards, the night was still young, so we headed to West Street, Yangshuo's oldest street. The energy here is electric, with many things happening at once, from dancing on the streets, people dressed up in costumes, and all kinds of pets. This is the right place to be at night if you want to be in the thick of the action, with plenty of shops, restaurants and bars, many with live music. People in China often say that while Guilin is known for having the most beautiful scenery, the real gem is Yangshuo. They probably meant Ruyi Peak, the highest point in Yangshuo, where our feast for the eyes continued the next morning. Gliding by on our own cable car, it felt like we were entering another world, and our eyes greedily took it all in. To get to Ruyi Peak, we took a leisurely stroll across a suspended bridge about 500 feet long, featuring panoramic views of the surrounding landscape. The walk was also lined with red ribbons bearing wishes, from acing exams to good health and wealth. In true Chinese fashion, a drone photographer was at the summit, energetically directing tourists into playful poses as video souvenirs. The way to the summit wasn't long, but rather steep, something to take note of if you or your travel mates have problems with stairs. If you have some extra time to spare in Yangshuo, the Guilin Romance Park, or Tianguqing, may be a fun, albeit kitschy experience. This cultural theme park is centered on bringing Guilin's local history and culture to life, and caters to a younger crowd with beautiful costumes, interactive games, and engaging performances, including a monkey god performing stunts on a water jetpack. Everything culminates in its main attraction, Guilin Tianguqing, a high-tech show with music, dancing, and visually stunning effects that tell local stories of Guilin and its legends. I felt that the show here tells the story of Liu Sanjie more engagingly. Even my dad agrees. There's a lesser-known night show in Yangshuo's Butterfly Spring Park that's actually massively popular among the locals. If you're not willing to splash the cash for Impression Liu Sanjie or Guilin Tianguqing, this is a more affordable option. It's a fun and sometimes comedic show that covers the cultures of the Dong and Miao people, two ethnic minority groups in Guangxi. Outside, the Butterfly Spring Park is curiously butterfly and avatar themed and has plenty of pretty spots to take photos. The main downside is the area can get super crowded and chaotic, and you may have to sit on the floor if you are late. Oh, and everything is in Mandarin. Some spots feel like they are on every travel checklist, so famous that you almost have to go. But once you're there, it's mostly about getting that one photo. The Moon Hill is one of them. Located along Yangshuo's 10-mile gallery, we stopped along the roadside and snapped away as grannies offered beautiful handmade flower crowns. Then we zoom off to our next attraction, Silver Cave. Guilin's unique limestone hills, shaped by erosion, create natural formations that give rise to beautiful caves too. The stalactites, stalagmites, and colorful lighting inside Silver Cave reveal a dramatic underground world. If you have mobility issues, or simply don't want to walk like a peasant, like us, there's an option to get carried around in a sedan for about $30. But honestly, if you've never visited a cave like this, it may be worth a stop. If you've seen similar ones before, Silver Cave is probably more of the same, and you can give it a miss, especially given how crowded it can get inside. Speaking of things you can't miss in Guilin, you cannot avoid tasting Guilin noodles. This dish is as iconic as the city itself and a staple found nearly everywhere. Served slightly spicy with tangy pickled veggies, peanuts and meat, my wife had a bowl almost every day. If you're planning to spend a few days in Yangshuo like us, it's worth choosing a comfortable base, especially after all the sightseeing. Yangshuo is still a bit rural, so this is one of the better hotel options. The rooftop has great views of the Karst Mountains, and it's only 5 minutes from West Street, perfect for easy access to food, shops and nightlife. Just a couple more things to keep in mind if you're planning a visit to Guilin. First, most of the shows and guided tours we joined were conducted entirely in Mandarin, so it helps to have a good command of it. That said, most attraction signboards do include English translations, so it's not hard to navigate around. Second, many popular spots like Rui Peak, Longji Rise Terraces and Silver Cave involve a fair bit of walking and climbing upstairs. This can be tough for older travelers or anyone with mobility issues, something we had to consider while traveling with my parents. Guilin is often called the most beautiful place under the heavens in China, and it's only when you see it for yourself that the phrase really clicks. Yes, it's a well-trodden destination with crowds and tourist traps at times, but every now and then, you'll find yourself in a quiet moment, surrounded by misty peaks and still waters, feeling like you have stepped into a living ink painting. If this video gave you ideas for your trip, give it a like, subscribe for more, and let us know where you're headed next. Thanks for exploring Guilin with us, and we'll see you in the next one.